Welcome to 2025 Twin Analytics Conference. And I want to wish all the multiple births family here, including myself, happy National Multiple Births Awareness Day. It always happens on May 28th in Canada. Thank you for carving time to participate in our conference today. You have joined the multipliers, and we are sure you will take a lot from this conference to enrich yourself and your community. So, what is Twin Analytics Conference all about? The conference goal is to address the mental and social well-being, also called psychosocial health, of multiple birth families in Canada and by extension, the rest of the world. We engage experts from the field and academia to help us address this issue. We acknowledge that both scientific and cultural practices are relevant to addressing psychosocial health of multiple birth families, and when we bring these perspectives to our conference every year. Mental health, as we all know, is indeed key to community health and progress. Our topic this year is the relevance and future of twin clubs to the mental and social well-being of multiple birth families in Canada. So here to make the case are various leaders of twin clubs in Canada. But before we get going, I would like to acknowledge some of our board members and volunteers who are making today's conference possible. Jasmine Owen, Monishola Ajadahun, Isaac Mate, Eben Esofi, Josiah Efriye, Esofua Foster, and Dr. John Ajay. Here are a few housekeeping rules to help us all enjoy today's conference. I would like to ask everyone to mute when there's a discussion going on. Thank you very much for doing that. And please type your questions in the chat, should you have any questions, and the chat manager will make sure that they are tabled for addressing. Otherwise, you may use the raise hand button during question time. At this time, I would like to call on Eben Esofi to give us the land acknowledgement. Eben Esofi. Is Eben here?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, please.
Yeah, I was muted. Okay. Thank you very much, Auntie Flora. So land acknowledgement. First, we acknowledge God, the maker of the heavens and the earth, who are located to every people group on earth, their own land and space. And in this same spirit, we acknowledge that we are on the Traditional Territory Treaty 6, the traditional lands and territories of the indigenous peoples. We acknowledge the traditional lands and territories of the indigenous people who have lived on these lands and have taken care of them since time immemorial. What became known as the province of Alberta in 1905 is also the traditional and ancestral home to many indigenous peoples. And for that, we are honored to have shared this land with them since Treaties 6, 7, and 8 were entered into. Alberta is also the historical Northwest Métis homeland, which includes 5 territories. We acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who have lived in and cared for these lands for generations. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today and those who have gone before us. We make this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose territory we reside on or are visiting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eben, for the land acknowledgement. We now call on Essie Foster to introduce a moderator for today's conference.
Okay, so our moderator today is Dr. Akua Agiameng. Dr. Akua is a physician specialist in public health. She trained in Ghana and worked as a primary care physician before moving to Canada. She serves as the president of the Black Residents and Fellows of Canada on the Black Physicians of Canada board. She is passionate about working to promote the health of vulnerable populations through healthy public policies which address the various determinants of health and inequity. Dr. Egyemeng is married to Mr. Emmanuel with 3 children. She enjoys the outdoors with her family and friends, volunteering with her community when she is not working.
Thank you very much. We want to welcome Dr. Ekua Agyeman. Now Essie is going to introduce our first speaker. So would you please do that now?
Our first speaker is Teresa Rice. Teresa Rice is a professional event planner working throughout the Pacific Northwest and British Columbia. She and her husband, Christopher, are the proud parents of 5, including identical twin sons, Preston and Brock. Teresa has been a member of Mother of Twins clubs in Spokane, Washington since 1981. She attended her NWA MOMC convention in 1982, where her twins were 7 months old, and became an active participant in both local and regional organizations. In 1984, her family moved to British Columbia, where she became a member of Vancouver Parents of Multiples, which was a member of NWA MOMC as well. Teresa worked within NWA MOMC in various positions, including research, librarian, meeting planner, and convention chair in 1996, 2003, 2009, and 2024. She served as a recording secretary, corresponding secretary, and eventually was elected as president from 1999 to 2001. Following her role as president, she served as advisor for 4 years to the Northwest presidents. She currently is an active trustee on the Northwest Board, manages website development, and is current Convention Sites 2027 chair.
We welcome Teresa to today's conference. Thank you very much, Teresa. We will hear from you in a bit. We want to introduce our second speaker. We call on Moni Shola to introduce our second speaker.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Moni Sola, and I will be introducing our second speaker today. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, we can.
Okay. His name is Lee Neufeld, and he is the former president of the Twin Triplets and More Association of Calgary. He still serves on the board of director as the past president and has held a broad position for the past 7 years. He has 8-year-old boy and girl twin and a 4-year-old daughter. He has been married for 13 years. He first joined the TTMAC board with a sense of writing to give back to an organization that provided him and his wife a much needed support during their twin journey. However, his reasoning has changed over the years, and now he would like to bring more awareness to the general public about the struggle that multiple parents go through and their need for gender supports. When he's not presenting or serving the board, he is an avid gamer and play Dragon and Dungeon game and 3D prints various objects. He is a software developer by profession and striving to start his own 3D printer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Moni Shola. Lee, very welcome to today's conference. We'll now go on to and Jasmine, are you here? Jasmine? Okay, Isaac, would you introduce the next speaker, please? Isaac?
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I was muted. Thank you for having me. So the next speaker is Dr. John Ajayi. John Ajayi is a chemical engineer by profession, and until his retirement a couple of years ago, he worked for Saint-Crude Canada Limited. He holds a PhD in chemical engineering from University of Saskatchewan. He still serves as an adjunct professor at the University of Saskatchewan Chemical Engineering Department. He is married with 4 adult children, 2 of which are fraternal twins, male and female. He loves volunteering with various nonprofits in his community and gardening. And he also likes watching sports in his spare time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Isaac, and welcome Dr. John Ajayi. I will introduce our last speaker, Kelsey Shatford. Kelsey Shatford is a vice president of POMBA, Parents of Multiple Births Association of Nova Scotia. Kelsey is an identical twin who also has identical twins. Living in Nova Scotia with her husband and twin boys, she works in education and volunteers with POMBA. She loves being a part of a unique organization that provides support, connection, and assistance to families raising multiples. Welcome, Kelsey. I hope we're going to have an enjoyable session discussing how twin clubs contribute to the mental well-being of multiple-based families. I will hand over to the moderator at this time to get on with the discussion. Thank you very much. Dr. Ikrea.
Thank you very much, Ms. Flora. That was really interesting seeing the wide range of expertise and experiences we have gathered today for our discussion. So we are going to start with, we'll go from maybe as people were introduced, we're going to start from Teresa Rice and we go to Lee, we come to John, and then we go to Kelsey. If you're able to put on your videos for us, that would be helpful. Can I ask the host to pin our panelists for us so that they are in the middle? Thank you. So with this question is for you, Teresa Rice. Can you tell us about which twin club you are representing and from which province or region and how long it's been operating? And then you can also tell us your personal connection to the club as well as your motivation for working with that twin club.
Teresa, would you unmute? Teresa?
Hello. Hi.
Yeah.
It's very nice to meet all of you. So the purpose of the twins was the first question was, what are the twins clubs about and why this cause matters to me?
The province.
The province I'm in is British Columbia.
Yes. Your connection to the twin club.
I'm a mother.
And then which one?
Okay, so I understand. So I belong to the Northwest Association Mothers of Twins Clubs. I belong to 5 clubs throughout the Pacific Northwest. That happened from my move to Vancouver and getting involved in different groups in different capacities. I've been mostly involved with Northwest, which as was said, we cover Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Alaska, British Columbia, and Washington State. So being a mother of twins was, as a young mother, was a struggle. And I had an invitation to come out to a club, and I found that the personal touch of support is what kept me involved in Northwest as well as local clubs and making that connection. I was encouraged to get involved, and I found a purpose in that, ensuring that other mothers were getting the same level of support that I received as a mother. And I've just become more involved through that. So I'm not sure if I'm answering the question completely, but I don't think that there's anything more important than you can get lots of good advice from doctors and professionals, but that personal touch, those little tricks and tips and things that mothers that have already gone through the, late night, I can't get them to sleep, those feedings, how do you breastfeed 2 babies or 3 babies at a time? There's lots of things out there, lots of knowledge out there. I found that, a professional just doesn't necessarily know that unless they've experienced it themselves. So I hope that answered the question.
Oh, that's really insightful. Thank you so much. This is really helpful. And yeah, like you're saying, no doctor can tell you how to do that except someone with a lived experience, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thanks so much, Teresa. Yeah, we'll go on to Lee, and it's about the same question everyone will be answering from their own perspective and their own experience. So please tell us about which twin club you belong to and how long it's been operating, as well as your connection to the club and your motivation for working with the club. And then if you know how many families are there, you can also tell us like the scope or expanse of your club.
Yeah, so I am part of the Twins, Triplets, and More Association of Calgary. We call ourselves TTMAC. We've been operating for 52 years in the Calgary area, and we are the second largest twin association in the country. We currently have 550 member families. I've been part of the association since before my twins were even born. My wife did a Google search trying to find some sort of support groups, classes, that kind of things when we were expecting our twins, and she came across TTMAC, so we joined, and it's just been a wealth of knowledge for us. There was lots of different supports that were offered. Like Teresa said, there's nothing like actually being able to talk to other parents and things that are going through the same things or have already been through those things to really put things in perspective and give you a bunch of tips and tricks on how to get through it, because the doctors really have no idea on any of it. And it just, the amount of support that we got, that especially that first year of having our twins, was just invaluable to us. So I figured I'd join the board of directors and give back. So I spent 3 years as our social director, and then I stepped in as 4 years as our president. And now I've done a year as past president, just kind of guiding and molding our current president and kind of training her to the position and things like that. And yeah, I love being part of the association. I love being part of the group. It's kind of one of those places where you don't have to explain yourself on what's going on with any other parents. You just have to mention, oh, my kids did this, and usually they're like, oh yeah, we were through that kind of thing. So it's that camaraderie part of things that I really enjoy, and I enjoy kind of allowing younger parents, kind of filling them in on what to expect or things that they can do from my experience, so that they don't have to try and figure it out or, do a bunch of guesswork and stuff. So that's kind of what I enjoy about it.
That's really amazing. It's always nice to know that you're not alone and you can just, have that safe space to share, and people will get to you and understand you, right? Yeah. So we will go on to John, and then we will see the same question. So please tell us about which twin club you are representing today, and how long it's been operating. You can also tell us about how you got connected to them, as well as your motivation for working with the club. I think you are muted.
Thank you, Dr. Ike. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please, Dr. J.
Actually, I'm filling in for Brian Clark, who is the president of the Toronto Parents of Multiple Births Association. So what I'm going to say is not my story, but it's rather the story of Brian. And I'll try as much as possible to read what he says, maybe adding a little bit here and there, but other than that, this is what Brian said. Our organization, the Toronto Parents of Multiple Births Association, or TPOMBA for short, is a peer support network for parents of multiple births in Greater Toronto area. We are dedicated to providing opportunities for caregivers of twins, triplets, and hire other multiples to connect, to socialize, and to support one another, to learn together, and to save a little bit of money. We were founded in 1973 by a twin mom named Marilyn Megaman in North Toronto, under the original name Parents of Twin Club, PTC. Today, we support over 600 families of multiples across the Toronto area. I would say maybe slightly higher than those of you in Calgary. Brian says, I've been part of the organization since before my fraternal twins were born, and I've been volunteering since 2020. Tipomba was a lifeline for me in those scary and overwhelming early days. I also have a community of parents who had been where I was and if not thrived. It was so reassuring to be able to ask questions, get advice, and even just commiserate when I was struggling. They made me feel seen and validated my experiences in a way that singleton parents just couldn't and still can't. I'm so honored to be leading the organization alongside an incredible team to continue to offer that same support to other parents and caregivers of multiples. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. John. It's great that you get to read that, being a father of twins yourself. I'm sure you can relate to that. And I can't even begin to wrap my head around, having one child can be tasking, but having two and having to do that all over again, double all the time, must be really a daunting thing to do. So hats off to all you parents of twins. It's a great work that you are doing. So we're going to go on to Kelsey, and it's the same question just to get her perspective about which twin club you belong to, Kelsey, as well as how long it's been operating, your motivation for working with the club, and how many families are there.
So hi everyone, hopefully you can hear me. You'll have to excuse me, I'm getting over a cold, so I'm a little bit raspy, but I'm a part of PAMBA. I'm currently the vice president. We operate in Nova Scotia. We're a little bit of a smaller organization compared to some of the other organizations here today. We support roughly 200 families. We're a small team of 12 executives. We're completely volunteer run organization. And my connection actually started many years ago. My mom was a part of PAMBA when I was born, along with my twin sister. So growing up, I had kind of heard all about PAMBA and the great resources and the connection that it provided to my mom when I was a baby. So when I found out that I was having twins, I had already known, I've got to become a member of PAMBA. So I joined just before, roughly about 4.5 years ago. And it's so nice, like everyone else has said, to share with others who know exactly what you're going through. My first connection to the organization was through our rentals program, which I think we'll probably get into a little bit later. And renting at such a low cost some of those really key, useful items that multiples we can really benefit from. And so I've been doing communications for PAMBA. I was president for a little bit, took a little step back, and now for the past 1.5 years, I've been vice president, and I just love it. I needed an outlet in those early kind of twin months, other than raising my twins. So I joined PAMBA, and it's been really, really rewarding to be able to support others kind of going through the same experience.
Thank you so much. This is really interesting. And I like that you bring this perspective of, that intergenerational support and mentoring along. I think it's really neat that we have these twin clubs and even preparing for future twins, right? So when the children become parents of twins themselves one day, then they probably would have seen how it all went along. Yeah. Well, we will go on, and as this time I'm going to maybe ask different questions, or we'll have two people answer the same question and others would answer different questions, just so we get a wide range of perspective. Meanwhile, if you have comments or questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. So we will still go in that same order, or maybe this time we'll switch it a bit. We'll start with Lee. What do twin clubs hope to accomplish for multiple birth families that cannot be replicated by any government program?
I know for TTMAC, we provide a wide range of supports for our families. And we have breastfeeding support, bottle feeding support, a rental program. At our office, we have a bunch of donations that other members and organizations have donated to us. So we allow our members to come in and just take whatever they can for free. So we have clothing, equipment, toys, all sorts of things. We do social outings for families, just parents, that kind of stuff as well. So it's a lot of things that I don't know if the government can't replicate it. I think it's a matter of they don't. Like there is no programs in place for multiple families. Like when it comes to things like maternity leave and whatnot, it's still based on one pregnancy, not two babies kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So things like that. So we try and provide any sort of, I guess, like I said, physical support with actual things, or, mental support by getting, members out and about and doing things. We offer all sorts of different classes and things. So we do have first aid and classes that we offer. We have classes, probably our most popular class is our survival strategies class. So that's one that we offer to parents that their twins are usually birth to 6 months, that they're kind of right in the thick of it. So it's things that we offer of like, they can ask us questions of people that have older twins, or if there's, bits of advice that we can offer them. It's something that, they're right in the thick of it. They won't forget any questions. They know exactly what they're wondering, like, why isn't my kid eating? Or how do I deal with, a million dirty diapers a day, that kind of stuff. So it's those kind of personalized programs that we offer that the government just doesn't.
Yeah, you definitely are right there. I can see the huge gap that this is filling, because definitely policymakers, decision makers, even that piece about maternity leave being for one baby, and there's really nothing about no other considerations for multiple birth parents when they have to take maternity or paternity leave. So yeah, and we will learn what others are doing, and maybe as we go along, we can also be identifying things that twin clubs could be doing. For instance, even flagging this for the government, right? Because it is very difficult to have like a child who is born early, preterm, and we know that most twins are likely to be born much earlier. So having to deal with that, and then having to deal with two of them, and then all that, and yeah, there's definitely a lot of work that twin clubs are doing. So we can move on to John. We will just move on to the next person that way. Initially, I had thought that we will switch this question, but I think it's important that we hear what each twin club is doing that the government isn't doing. So maybe we just go around and everyone would answer the same question. So what do twin clubs hope to accomplish for multiple birth families that cannot be replicated by the government program? Dr. Jane. Thank you. I'm muted again.
Thank you. We are constantly evolving to meet the needs and wants of our members, whether that's pivoting to virtual workshops and webinars, seeking out speakers on specific topics, or planning events that allow as many members as possible to participate. We are also flexible and nimble as an organization. But more importantly, we are a peer support organization for parents of multiples, run by parents of multiples. So we get it. We have an intimate and deep understanding of the challenges and the joys of raising multiples. We can relate to our members in a way that the generic government program never could. They trust us because we are making decisions based on their feedback and opinions, as well as our own experiences parenting twins, triplets, and more. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that is very helpful to know. And we can move on to Kelsey. Maybe you can make this more specific to Nova Scotia, where you are, about what the twin clubs they are doing and what they are doing that the government probably cannot do.
Sure, yeah. So a really big piece of what we provide is connection. We offer social media group, like via Facebook, where our members can just throw up any random question, 2:00 in the morning, they have resources. We have files on the group that go from everything, breastfeeding, sleep. So there's always that resource for them any time of day. Excuse me. We're really proud of our rentals program. We offer members breastfeeding pillows, pumps. We have baby scales, and those are all available at really low rental fees. We just launched 1 year ago the preemie closet, which provides our families with bundles of preemie sized clothing at no cost. We know that the price of preemie clothes, it's so expensive for how little of a time that the babies are in them. So it's one resource that we're very proud to be able to provide to our members. We're also really super connected to the doula community within Nova Scotia. We just went to the Pregnancy and Parenting Expo in Halifax, organized by Ashley Cooley from Birth Baby Sleep. So we're really connected to a wide variety of resources that if Pampa can't kind of connect with the family, my kids are knocking on the door, sorry. We know the resources that are available, and we can kind of guide our members to those. So it really does come down to a lot of the connection piece. 3:00 in the morning, you need to connect with someone, you throw it up on the Facebook group and somebody has been there and can offer reassurance. We kind of like to say, we're more than just a hotline that, you call for support, and we're real people, real parents of multiples behind the scenes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I think my internet was a bit unstable here, but you can still hear me and see me, right? Okay, great. So we move on to you, Teresa Rice, and it's about the same question. It looks like your twin club spans a wide range of geographical area, even to the US and other places. So
Right.
Can you tell us what your twin club is doing that the government probably isn't or couldn't do? Thank you.
So because Northwest is an affiliation of clubs across the Pacific Northwest, one of the main things that we do, we meet twice a year. So we have a spring conference and a fall conference. At those conferences, we encourage speakers that are relevant to the parenting of multiple birth families, educators, researchers, that sort of information or workshops for our members to benefit from the information that they have to share with us. And then during those conferences, we have our boutique program where we different groups within Northwest or different committees within Northwest raise funds. So we give out scholarships, several scholarships, and we have a benevolent program. So we have the Champagne Scholarship for multiple birth children. We have a mom scholarship for those moms that are seeking higher education. We have a campership program for children from kindergarten to high school so that they can attend a summer camp of their choice. And then under our benevolent program, we have a family in need program. So any club can submit an application for a member family that they know is in crisis. We have a community organization donation that we do every year. So each club has the opportunity to promote a local community project. And this is our way to give back to the community that our clubs belong to. And there's a $250 donation. We have a Gail Lasher Medical Scholarship for any medical student that is attending university. And then we have a couple of programs to promote members to attend conferences, and whether they're a first timer or an older member who has recently retired and short of funds. So we do I would say a fairly good job of raising those funds all within Northwest. And I don't know of any government program that does that. But I think that's something that's unique about Northwest and our members. We're an extremely giving a group. So.
Yeah, thank you for that insight. Definitely, I can't imagine governments being this detailed or intentional in their programming. It would have to take people with lived experience, people who are intimately connected to be able to design such programs. So kudos to you guys. Now, maybe before we move on to our next question, one thing just came to me whilst you were all talking. Like, twin clubs are doing so much more. And I'm wondering how people can, if it's that easy for people to easily find you, because like Lee said, when he was expecting, he went online and Googled and saw if there's such supports available. But it's not always that you see twin clubs, except people who have one way or the other being connected to twins or multiple beds. And then, so maybe just one person can answer this about your publicity or how easy it is for people to find you. Anyone can take that, and then we'll move on to our next round of questions. Or maybe, you think about it. We'll just move on. So this time we'll start with Dr. J. What's your most successful program and why? And any personal stories you like to share? And also, how do you plan to sustain the programs in the future? So which programs have been most successful at your twin club, and how you plan to sustain those programs? And then also feel free to share any personal stories. Thank you.
So again, just a reminder, I'm speaking on behalf of the Toronto Multiple Births group over there. They have one exciting program, and I think Brian, who is the president over there, stated, and I want to read part of it. I would say twice loved consignment sale is our most successful program. Twice loved consignment sale. We hold it twice a year, and it is always a huge success. We get dozens of volunteers out. We provide a service to the community in a very affordable second-hand baby kit sale, and we raise some money for our organization. It is a well-oiled machine and so much fun to be part of. He continues to say that our annual picnic at Hyde Park might be the close one behind. It's our flagship event for members and allows us to celebrate and socialize with other members in a casual, relaxed space. As long as the weather cooperates, it's always a great time. One of my favorite memories, and that is Brian saying, one of my favorite memories from the picnic is getting my kids' caricature done. It hangs on the wall in their bedroom and brings me so much joy every time I look at it. It reminds me of the day, the picnic, and this amazing community I'm so lucky to be part of. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so looking at the various twin clubs with different sizes and populations, it also brings different levels of programming. So very interesting. I will move on to Kelsey, and you can tell us about the most successful programs your club's been running and how you hope to sustain them. And feel free to share any stories you would like to share with us.
So our most successful program would also be a twice a year consignment sale. We just had one 2 weeks ago. It's always so well attended, and actually kind of what I heard the most about from my mom was how amazing the consignment sale is. It wasn't until I was able to go to my first consignment sale that I really was like, oh my gosh, this is actually amazing. And then we all, know with the cost of living, anytime you can kind of get a good deal, we're very proud of having those sales. We're currently planning our fall sale for in about 5 months, so that'll be really exciting. So kind of second to the sale would be our rentals program. We're very proud to be able to offer this to our members through carriers, pillows, breast pumps. It's one of our kind of we have an amazing rentals coordinator who often is the face of our organization, meeting the families to deliver or a pickup of these items. It also it's just really nice to be able to connect, and everyone shares the love of the Twinsy pillow. I know I loved it when my boys were little, and I was very sad to give it back, but other families needed it, and my boys outgrew it, so it was just really nice. So those two things I think would be our most successful. We also, we run playgroup twice a month and have a great time with that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Just to let you maybe throw a bit of light on the consignment sales and what kind of things or how you source the goods, so that if other people want to start that in their twin clubs, they could also draw on that. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So how ours kind of works is we advertise for sellers. We use My Consignment Manager online. Every seller tags, sorts their items. We organize the space with tables, racks, and then we set up like the cash and all of that stuff. But the My Consignment Manager basically does all of the work. So we have on average 50 to 200 sellers. Pre-COVID, the sales were much more successful. We've been working really hard to kind of bring them back post-COVID. So we're diligently working hard to do that. So yeah, the day of setup, sellers come in, they lay out all of their things, and then we have amazing volunteers who work the sale to bring everything in, help bag, sort, clean up, and all of that. So if anybody did want to talk further about that, I'm definitely open to that. It's a great sale.
Yeah, thanks for throwing more light on that. And I would think the twice loved one would be people donating gently used stuff so that people can also buy them at a good price and use them for their kids or things their children have outgrown, right? Okay, so we move on to Teresa Rice, and then we'll be asking about your most successful program at your Twins Club and how you hope to sustain it, as well as any personal stories you'd like to share with us.
I think I'd like to actually talk about the consignment thing. Real quickly, several of our clubs in Washington State and Oregon used to do consignments, but and they were done exactly how Kelsey described, and thank you for that. But most of them have gone by the wayside in the last 15 years for sure, just because they basically were put out of business by local entrepreneurs who just overtook it somehow and really just put them out of business. And so those programs have more or less disappeared. But from a Northwest perspective, I've already talked about the fact that we have a very strong and vibrant scholarship program. And I'd say that has been extremely successful since we were first formed in 1963, and has continued to grow over the years, including the benevolent. And all of that is self-funded through our conferences. And it's really been great. And most recently, we've had a fantastic newsletter for years, and the benefit of that's been huge. I think you asked a question about social media, or how do people find us? I would say largely nowadays people find us over the internet, but initially it would be through doctor's offices or hospitals. It was just brought to my attention recently that doctor's offices will no longer share our brochures with patients out of privacy reasons. So sometimes we're running into that sort of issue, but our conferences are well known for being a lot of fun, and we used to have as many as 400 attending. Since COVID, it's dropped substantially. We're down to 75 attendees, and I think that's largely due to cost. Anyways, I would say scholarship and benevolent would be our most successful programs.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree to that. It's definitely something that twin families and multiple birth families would appreciate. Thanks for sharing. And we'll come to you, Lee, and it's the same question. What's your twin club doing that you're really proud of, and how do you hope to sustain it? And if there are any personal stories, we are happy to listen.
So we also do a semi-annual sale. We have a spring sale and a fall sale. We run ours a little bit different than the others because ours isn't run as a fundraiser. We actually, so in one sense, you could say it's one of our most successful things, but on the other hand, it's actually not super successful because we actually lose money as an organization doing it. So we hold it as a benefit to our members to allow them the opportunity to sell their gently used goods to the general public and make a couple bucks on the side. So we sponsor basically the whole thing as an organization to allow our members to do that. But we lose money every time. I think we just had our last one a month ago and we lost about $5,000 doing it. But we put it on for our members so that they have the opportunity to sell to the general public. Our other thing that we do is just actually our office. Having our office facility is probably one of the most successful things that we have just with what we run out of it, and having our members be able to go there and get just pick from our new to you pile that we have of clothes and toys and whatnot. We use the facility to run some of our classes. We have our rental program as well that we run out of there that we actually don't charge members for, so they can just book a stroller or a breastfeeding pillow or whatever else that they need and just take it for a small deposit, and they get that deposit back once it's been returned. And we use it kind of like as our base of operations, I guess you could say. Everyone just kind of centralizes there, and generally that's where we try to focus a lot of efforts out of and into. So yeah, those are probably our most successful things that we have going on.
Yeah, so very interesting. Thanks for sharing. You can see that the same programs, but as we are seeing maybe different goals or aims and targets for running it. Yeah, lots of learnings taking place here. Okay, we'll take this question and then we'll have a break. After that, we'll continue with our panels. So what are some of the areas of opportunity for improvement in your organization? Areas of opportunity as well as challenges. So opportunities and opportunities for improvement. Yeah. And we will start with Kelsey, I think.
So I guess kind of one thing that we struggle with, I guess, need to improve is our volunteers on our executive. We are a smaller organization, so kind of retaining our volunteers is something that we need to work on. Where we are volunteer-based, it's a little bit harder to find the committed to people who, we're all busy as working individuals. We all have multiples like that, so we're very understanding in that life gets busy, but it does make it sometimes a little bit challenging to run an organization without volunteers. So that's something that we kind of need to grow. So we recently started really recruiting for executives outside of our organization. In the past, we've tried to stay within Pamba, Nova Scotia to fill the executive roles. So just, I think maybe 2 months ago, we've expanded to the general population to kind of drive more success with volunteers. But yeah, that would be kind of our opportunity for growth.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's a really smart move. Like I always wanted to have twins, but I didn't get to. So definitely that is something I could volunteer for. And I'm sure there are many people like that too who will be willing to volunteer for twin clubs. And even though they might not have the lived experience, they might have hands willing to support. Yeah. Okay, so still on the same question, we move to Teresa Rice. What are areas of opportunities and then opportunities for improvements in your organization?
So we currently are suffering from the same issue, the commitment of volunteers or new moms that are coming in. We're seeing a real decline in the amount of twins clubs across the Pacific Northwest and British Columbia. So many of those are folding, or they're not bringing in new members, so they're becoming social clubs rather than educational and support clubs. So our membership in some ways is aging, and we're struggling. We're not seeing as many first-timers coming into the organization as what we used to. We used to have, as many as 25 or 30 first-timers attending one of our conferences. This is the first time in 45 years of attending these conferences that we didn't have a single first-timer. And we didn't have a single scholarship applicant, although we did give away a mother's scholarship, and that's really a first since the beginning of this organization. So the retention of volunteers and volunteers that we sometimes get volunteers, but then they disappear. So that is a real issue. But we're looking at how can we grow the organization as far as being inclusive. Do we open it up to twins themselves to come and attend? We'd like to build on our boutique and offer a trade show so that there's many companies out there that offer unique products to parents of multiples, and so we'd like to grow that little boutique area up with businesses and make it available to the public wherever our conference, because our conferences move around throughout the Northwest. So those are some areas. We've talked about doing more with social media. So we would be dependent on a volunteer that's really very expert at that in that area. And we've even thought about starting a podcast. Just to try and bring attention, not just to Northwest, but to Twins Club and the benefit of being part of an organization. So those are some of the opportunities we're looking at.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing. I can see how these things you talked about can really make a difference. Like a podcast, educating people about multiple beds, people sharing their stories, and social media campaigns. And so my understanding is that this is mainly for the parents of the twins and not the twins themselves, right? Okay. Yeah. So maybe having a subgroup where the twins can start coming together might also kind of help extend its impact. Yeah.
We do have one set of identical twins that attend every year. Their mother is a member and has been, and then one of the twins have twins, much like Kelsey, and so her twins are now graduating high school, but we'd really like to see more educators and things like that belonging to the organization and bringing their knowledge. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, we move on to Lee. And it's the same question, areas of opportunity as well as opportunities for improvement in your organization.
Yeah, we have kind of two right now. One is definitely that volunteer piece where I think it's something that's commonality amongst lots of not-for-profit organizations, is trying to generate and maintain volunteers. We're going through the same thing, that we're just having a really hard time getting anyone that's willing to volunteer. So we're just trying to find other opportunities of possibly incentivizing or anything like that to get people to actually stay as a volunteer or to even become new volunteers. One of our bigger things that we're trying actually to get off the ground is a public awareness campaign, because we've been finding over the years that the general public themselves just doesn't know that we exist. And so that makes it really difficult when we're trying to get different donations or sponsorships or things like that for certain things. A campaign we tried to do last year but just didn't get off the ground is to actually have a float in the Calgary Stampede parade, and just the Stampede Parade themselves really wanted our organization in it, but we couldn't come up with the cost to do it, because to do a float apparently is between $80,000 to $100,000 to participate in the parade itself. And as an organization, that's our entire budget for a year. So we tried to come up with sponsorships with different companies to see if they would sponsor our float, but they didn't know that we existed. And because they didn't know we existed, we have no credibility. And so now what we're trying to do is to start a public awareness campaign by doing different trade shows within the city, trying to get pamphlets, posters, that kind of thing out to different doctors' offices and whatnot, so that not only can we get new members, but then we can also get some awareness out there in the general public, so that we can start utilizing different organizations that would partner with us, or sponsorships and things like that.
Oh, thanks for sharing that. A question just came to mind. Do the organizations have like YouTube channels and, Snapchat, Instagram, even TikTok, all these reels and things like that? Because I would imagine that in these days, if someone is expecting to have twins, they'll probably go to YouTube and see what is out there. How do you take care of twins? Just type it in Google quickly and see what comes out for you. So yeah, interesting. Lots of areas of opportunities as we go along. Okay, we'll go to Dr. J, and it's the same question. Areas of opportunity as well as opportunities for improvement, and then any personal stories you'd like to share.
Yeah, thank you. I think most of what the Toronto area is facing, as has been mentioned, volunteering is one area, membership growth is another area. But I'll go ahead and then read what Brian Clark put together. And he said that we have seen membership growth slow over the last few years, particularly since the pandemic, primarily because as demographic shift, we also see a corresponding decline. Members aren't as interested now in getting together in person. They also have so many more resources at their fingertips through social media, so that there's not much interest in paying for a membership when they could get all that advice for free. But that idea discounts all other benefits of our association. We are so much more than a Facebook group. We host events, webinars, and workshops. We organize a consignment sale twice a year. We offer a discount directory, and we write a monthly blog and newsletter with information and resources related to raising multiple births. And we need to do a better job of making sure that people see and understand that. We also need to get more folks out volunteering so we can continue to deliver the great services and programs members have to come to love and expect. So this is what Brian said. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it's one thing that I think across board is volunteering. And as Brian said, with the aging population, and now I don't know if we are having as much people having twins as they used to have in the past. So maybe that could also be a natural cause. But as Lee was saying, just people being aware that this kind of support exists, because this is a huge, community of support in terms of mental health, in terms of those initial days where twin parents really need that support, and it's support that governments cannot provide. So it's really important that we find solutions to this. So we will take a break and we'll come back and talk about some of the possible solutions and things that others are doing and things others can do. So we turn it over to Ms. Flora to give us 20 minutes.
Okay, so for those who are not a multiple birth family, we're going to play a few questions for you, and you have to guess the answers and see how many you get right. Okay, so we're going to share that with you. So let's see how many you get right. Thank you very much. How many people attempted answering the questions? I hope who got more than 50%? I'm not like, who got more than 50%? Hooray, thank you. Any other person, just click the raise your hand button. How many got more than 50%? Anyway, we've learned something new today if you didn't get 50%. So your likelihood of having twins, that's the studies, but sometimes the studies does not align with reality, right? So, basically, these are the situations in which you could be a multiple birth parent. Now, we'd like to take a few questions from the floor. So if the chat manager will let us know what questions have been asked, then we can ask our panelists. Eben, any questions? Eben?
Yeah, there is just one question from you, which was directed to Teresa. I think that was answered. The question said, question to Teresa, multiple births are increasing globally. So what do they need to do to attract new multiple birth parents, or have they found help somewhere?
Yeah.
Thank you. Because the studies show that multiple births are increasing because there's now more fertility treatments are getting more successful. So if we are having more of them, I think that the clubs should actually grow. And so there must be something the clubs need to do to attract the families to join, and to not just to take, but I think that we need to maybe cultivate an attitude of wanting to give. It's not just about you coming to get, but you contributing to the health of somebody's multiple birth family. So this is a question that maybe some of you can answer.
Yeah. Okay. I see Tertiary, you're muted. Please take it away.
Sure. So I personally believe that we need to do better at connecting with hospitals, social workers, and physicians in each of the areas that we cover, so that they know not only about the local club and Northwest or any other organization, get that networking going amongst the organizations as well, and really have a strong marketing program out there for parents to know that that these groups exist, and then to make them understand that sure, they can go and look up anything over the internet and get an answer that's probably the same answer they could get from a doctor or a nurse of how to do something. But I'm going to go right back to this. There's nothing like the personal touch of support and that connection that you have with another person. And our one of our favorite mottos in Northwest is that we're building friendships through a common bond. The common bond being that of being parents of multiples. And I cannot tell you the number of times I've had someone say to me, well, I had babies that were 13 months apart. That's like having twins. But it's not like having twins. I'm sorry, it's not. And you're just not going to get those. There's just nothing like the personal touch of support and being able to share, there's the resources that maybe a little bit older mom whose kids might be a little bit older can give that level of support to a mom who's struggling through her first years, or getting her kids into school, and maybe they want to separate the twins or keep the twins together, whatever it is. Getting that sort of personal support is well, there's just nothing like it, nothing else out there like that. And I don't know of any other parent groups like a Parents of Multiples group. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I just want to chime in, Lee and Casey, Dr. J.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something that we've been trying to wrap our heads around for a couple years. One thing that we've kind of noticed is that it's kind of the change in the generation, right? We've gone from a bunch of generations kind of ending with my generation, millennials, where you kind of volunteer, you seek out help from others, or you volunteer because it's the right thing to do. Whereas now with the current generations, it's more of a mentality of, I can find it on the internet and do it myself, or if I'm going to volunteer, what am I going to get out of it? Kind of thing. They've lost that, well, I'm going to do it because it's the right thing to do kind of mentality. So that's something we're trying to combat. And if someone's figured out the answer, I'm open to it, but we have yet to figure it out.
And I think I do agree with what Lee is. When I look at if they want to learn how to cook, they will come to ask mom. But I see the tendency to ask their mom dwindling. These days, they will just go onto the internet and then try, what is the recipe of this type of food? And then they go and then try it. So I think I see a similar trend taking place where a mom or parents with multiple kids will just go online, social media, trying to find any help or any information from. I think that's where we are all getting to now.
May I just add something as well? I think we are dealing with the issue of mental health. And you can't get mental health from AI. You can't get mental health from Googling stuff. So I think that what we should, because we also run Twinfest, so I mean we are in the same. I think that maybe we should find ways of letting, I don't know, like what is it, but like we need to get people to understand that mental health is so crucial to their survival, even as a family. I think the message has to go. This has to be the message. You will not get mental health from AI or Googling answers. Mental health has to do with relationships. And I think maybe we have to recover our message to the public about what Twin Clubs are doing or what Twinfest is doing. That is I mean, we have mental health problems increasing or intensifying. And that's what the studies are showing. It's not like we are making this up. And so I think we have to come up with a very strong message that AI does not provide mental health. It just gives you information and that's it. But if you want you want your family to be successful, I mean, in terms of their health, mental health, you need to connect with this kind of client or with these clubs. So that's my little contribution.
Yeah, and yeah, I see your picture is on Kelsey. You want to add to it?
Yeah, I think I really agree with what everybody else has kind of said, and I love hearing the mental health piece as well, because I know for me personally, I really struggled postpartum, and it wasn't until 16 months postpartum that I kind of said, I've got some problems here. So I think that might be a really good way to kind of tackle the mental health part as well, and spreading awareness is always important. I know we kind of trying to work closely with the IWK, which is our biggest children's hospital here on the East Coast. So something we personally do is expectant parent nights. We meet at the IWK at the hospital, and we have nurses come out from the birth unit and support. But I really like that mental health part. It's important.
That's great. And as you're talking, a few things are coming to my mind, but just not about, twins specifically, but how organizations can grow and expand. And I was just thinking about things I've seen, such as, and again, hospitals and even fertility clinics, they might or might not be open to this, but having a small care package from your twin clubs, with information, leaving them there so that if people want to, then they can pick it and connect. Definitely fertility clubs, people would want to know it, because your chances of having multiples if you are having fertility treatments is high. And also like NICUs and where preterm babies are kept, definitely we can do that. Also partner with researchers. There are several mental health, maternal child health researchers, and I believe there are some of them with specific interest in twin and multiple birth research. So maybe getting some of them to kind of highlight some of the work that twin clubs are doing. And definitely one theme that kept coming across was, if you can't beat them, join them. With social club, with social media and everything else, social media can definitely not replace the in-person and personal touch, but it can be a channel and a vehicle for people to get to that personal touch. Usually people will Google and see what is there, and if they feel comfortable, they will see if it's possible to meet in person. So facilitating that, making it easier for people to connect online and then come in person. And then another thing that came to mind was, maybe is there a place for older twin parents who maybe are retired, who could volunteer as mentors to the new ones coming up? And because then probably they might have time on their hands, because obviously new parents are busy. It might be difficult for them to volunteer given everything else they'll have to be doing with their children. So yeah, a few thoughts there. And I guess that leads us to our next question, which is, what technologies or approaches are you exploring to improve your work? So I've mentioned some of them as a lead person, but we want to hear from the twin clubs what you are doing to improve the work of your twin club. So we'll start with Dr. J this time. What new technologies or approaches are you exploring to improve your work?
Okay, so I'll again read from what Brian put together. We are aware that many parents of multiple groups are struggling, both in recruiting members and in finding volunteers to keep the organizations going. A few have actually closed their doors recently, and that has been difficult to see. At T. Pomba, we are feeling those pains as well. It's been hard to find people that want to give their time and energy back to the organization, and that impacts our ability to keep members engaged, run great events for them, and ultimately recruit new members. So what we're doing is trying to find ways to incorporate new social media platforms like WhatsApp to increase engagement among existing members. We are also trying to think of ways we can spread the word about our organization more widely through things like direct outreach efforts to medical professionals and like-minded organizations, as well as advertising. We are also trying to leverage the skills, expertise, and connections among our members to create better marketing assets. It's always a work in progress, and often our goals are bigger than our capacity. So we do what we can and give ourselves as much grace as possible. So this is what, thank you.
Hey, thank you very much. I think it's along the lines of the discussions that we've been having here today. So I would give everyone the opportunity to tell us, maybe you are doing something that others can learn from. But we can move to, well, I think I lost the order, but I'll choose anyone randomly now. Maybe we come to you, Lee. If you can tell us about new technologies or approaches you're exploring to improve your work.
Yeah, right now we are actually been trying to up our marketing to reach out to more of the city and surrounding area, but we don't have any marketers that are willing to volunteer or even on our board. So we've actually been leveraging AI. So we've been trying to use ChatGPT and Canva to try and develop different marketing strategies as well as materials so that we can start printing them and distributing them.
Okay, well, we can go on to Teresa Rice. Any new technologies or approaches that you're exploring to improve your work?
So, as I said, well, we have a pretty strong Facebook presence, I would say, and it's well used by our current members. We have a members only Facebook page as well as a public Facebook page. We have Instagram, we have Twitter or X. What we don't have is a YouTube or a TikTok. And I think that for our membership, we would rely heavily on some of the newer, younger moms for that, because they're a little bit more experienced at that than our older moms. And we've talked about trying to network with other groups and get some sort of a podcast going that could go across Canada and the US to get the word out about what's out there for parents. I think that we could definitely do a better job at all of this, because it's all being done by volunteers, and of course everybody's busy in their own lives and roles or jobs, and that I think that, yeah, I'm just repeating what's already been said. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Teresa. I think that's the solution, right? Because everyone keeps bringing it up, and I definitely would be interested in listening to podcasts or a YouTube channel that has the twin parents sharing their journeys and their experiences. It's, even though I don't have twins, it will be something that I'll be interested in learning about. And it's always so fascinating when I speak to my friends with twins, and you realize that they have so much strength and courage, and, you know, to just appreciate some of the challenges that they face. Because usually when people have one child, they think that it's a lot of work. I'm sure that it's nothing compared to having multiple. Okay, we'll go to Kelsey, and it's the same question. What is your organization doing? New technologies that you're exploring to improve your work?
So we're currently pretty active on Facebook. We have a private members only group that gets daily engagement by members. We're on Instagram as well. I love the idea of a podcast. I think that's really cool, really relevant, and I think would draw in a lot of attention. I know podcasts are pretty popular these days. Something that we did after we've been connected to Multiple Births Canada for many years. So we did open our private members only group to just presidents of other chapters, so that they could kind of get an idea of what's going on in our groups to try to help influence their groups as well. So that was really successful in kind of being able to connect with the other chapters. And then we joined their groups as well. We also do print brochures to the IWK, so the Children's Hospital, that and posters and flyers that get posted. We're really lucky that we do have quite a nice connection with the hospital. When I was there, I did see the PAMA brochure and the flyers posted. So that was really nice to see. And we've done, I think about 3 years ago, we did an update of all of our print materials, and they were more than willing to hand those out and display those in the hospital. So that was really nice. Yeah, so kind of just keep plugging away into the social media.
Yeah, I guess with all this discussion going on, it's very clear that the most urgent need at this time for twin clubs is sustainability in terms of membership, volunteer funds, raising funds, and then still being relevant in this age of social media and AI and all that. And also another significant thing is that mental health supports being the strongest, like the strongest strength, if I should say it that way, or the biggest strength that twin clubs bring to the table is that mental health support, which definitely cannot be gotten online, preventing people from feeling alone and feeling isolated. So in the interest of time, we'll go on to our last baton question so that we can have some remarks and time for discussion and other questions. What is your vision for the future of twin clubs in Canada and maybe US or twin clubs in general, since the Northwest kind of spans Canada and US? And this time I'll start from Teresa Rice, we'll go to Lee, we'll come to Dr. J, and then we'll go to Kelsey. So Teresa Rice, what's your vision for the future of twin clubs in Canada? And then any final thoughts that you want to add to that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that what I would like to see, or my vision would be more networking amongst the groups and supporting each other. And any thoughts or ideas that anyone would like to share with me would be great. The only way that I have thought that this might work is to develop a podcast. But so that we're getting the message out, we're highlighting the different organizations across Canada, the US, the Pacific Northwest region, which is our area, and be able to help each other with marketing, but also be able to help ourselves with the information of really getting great researchers to come on and talk to parents. There's Dr. Joan, we just recently had Dr. Joan Friedman come and speak at our conference, and she is a twin. She's a mother of twins, and she is a twin herself, and I think she's a grandmother of twins, and she's also a mental health professional. So she was extremely enlightening and beneficial, and she does Instagram. In case anyone here hasn't seen her, she has an Instagram thing that she does every Tuesday on the mental health between twins themselves and their relationship. So that's great. Anyways, that's my vision, is better networking.
Thanks, Teresa. So we go on to Lee.
My vision is that we'd be able to advocate better for parents of multiples when it does come to government and programs and whatnot. I know it's something that we've been striving for, to be able to get better recognition from the government, for sure, and and realizing that just because it's one pregnancy but with two babies doesn't mean we get the same thing as a singleton kind of thing. Like, we need better maternity leave, we need better paternity leave, and then when it comes to different supports, whether it be financially, mentally, health-wise, we require more, unfortunately, than what's currently provided. And even what's currently provided now isn't even enough for really a singleton. So that's kind of our vision, is to kind of take it to more of a national stage.
Okay, thanks, Lee. Then we go on to Dr. J. Your vision for the future for twin clubs, things that you wish twin clubs can do to sustain themselves in the future.
I think the vision for Brian and his group is very simple, that they continue to exist. They continue to exist as a resource for parents of multiples for many decades to come. And they realize the challenges that is ahead of them, that they're facing with decline in membership and all of that. But that they will be able to put everything together to continue to exist, because there's nothing that replaces the human in-person connections from a group like that. So for them, it's their existence, whatever it takes for them to exist, whether it is through social media or through connections with other organizations, or other twin groups or triplets groups organizations. That is their vision. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm muted. Okay.
Yeah, I was fucking muted. Kelsey. It's the same question. What is your vision for twin clubs and your twin club in particular? And yeah.
Our main vision is to exist, is to be able to keep doing what we're doing, and support our members, retain volunteers, give them incentives to join, and to keep our membership up. That's our goal. I like what Lee said with advocating for families of multiples. I don't know how many times I was asked, double the babies, do you get double the mat leave or parental leave, or double the child tax? And no, we don't. So I liked that piece. But our main goal is to just keep doing what we're doing, and stay there for our families.
Thank you so much. So it's sustainability and being able to continue to exist is right now key on everyone's mind. And I wish that wasn't, the main thing, but unfortunately, it looks like that is what it is. So I'm going to open it now to the floor. And if you have questions or comments or thoughts about how you think we can solve some of these questions going forward, it will be really helpful to hear from all of you.
So we have one question here. Goes to all the panelists. It says, do you have paid staff in any of the twin clubs?
Okay, we can go from, Lee, I see you from muted. Please take it away.
Yeah, we have one. We have an office administrator that she's our one paid staff member. She actually is a current member, and she was on our board previously, so she just kind of stepped into the role of being our office administrator. So we would not survive without her.
Okay, Kelsey?
No, we currently do not have any paid staff. We are completely volunteer.
No, we do not have any paid staff, and under our 501c3 status that we maintain with the under the laws of charitable organizations, you cannot have paid staff. So we are strictly volunteer, and that really, I think, does tie our hands a bit.
And
I do have do you guys have summer students? Like, do you apply for the Canada summer grants to maybe get a student to work with you during the summer?
We have discussed on numerous occasions either hiring a grant writer or finding a grant writer. We had one woman for a while on the board that spent some time looking into grants, and then she disappeared. Then she, her kids were graduating high school and she left, and that was the end of that. So I do think that some grant writing assistance would be of huge help, not just for Northwest, but for all of these groups.
Any of you have, because it's a very good option for also marketing, because you have to advertise for the position, and they get to, that these young men can do a lot of publicity for you. So I'm thinking that if you haven't done that in the past, maybe you should consider. It's not a very difficult process. It's a very simple, straightforward process. You go to the website and you apply as a nonprofit, and they just give you basic wage for the students, and it's a good opportunity for the students to also have some job and exposure to multiple beds clubs and what they do. So maybe if you haven't done that in the past, I will recommend that you do that.
Interesting. Yeah. And another thing that came to mind was like YouTube pages, because I guess if your views go up, then you kind of make money passively. So that is one thing. And just if people are willing to share their stories and even a day in the life of a twin or things like that. I think about all these people's YouTube channels and things that people are putting out there, and they are not authentic because they don't have the lived experience. We have so many self-made experts, but twin clubs have valuable experience that they can really share with some authenticity that people will really benefit from. So yeah, maybe something to look at if there's interest. Okay, any more questions or comments?
We have another question here. It says, have any of the clubs engaged their MLAs or MPs, etc.? Have any of the clubs engaged their MLAs or MPs? I think member of parliaments.
Yeah, anyone, if you've done it, you can unmute yourself and no? I see people shaking heads. Yeah, but as we were talking, one thing that came to mind was about building connections and networking. All these parliamentarians and politicians, do we know if any of them are twins or like multiple, or maybe they have multiple births? Maybe that would be a way to connect with them and see if they will be interested in highlighting some of the works of the twin clubs. And also just when you hold your conferences or your sales or your events, just sending invitations to some of the ministers for, I don't know, women and children or whatever would be appropriate, MLAs and other public figures who can probably highlight the work you are doing.
Yeah, because a few years ago, Twinfest, we had one of our counselors, because he's a twin. We invited him to come and be part of it, and he really made a big difference because he's a politician. I think he was it the MLA? So you try to target politicians who maybe have twins or they themselves are twins, and you try to engage them, and I think they will be more understanding because they've had the experience or they are having the experience, and then they can advocate for us better than what we are doing as a club. We need to engage the government through the MLAs and the MPs and the councillors. So, I mean, it's just a suggestion.
Yeah, and they will usually come with the media too, so then you get some free publicity as well. Yeah, Eben.
Yeah, I actually just commented that a governor has twins, even though it's not in Canada. So just wanted to put that out there, I guess.
Ashley is one of our Northwest members. And I believe she's a mother. She is one of our members from Tacoma, Parents of Multiples. And I think I've got the area right. And she also works with the Washington state government, I believe, with the state of Washington. But she was just commenting that the governor is the parent of twins. So yeah. And I know that several years ago, when Booth Gardner was governor of Washington state, he actually, while he was campaigning, walked into one of our conferences, and Northwest was the beneficiary that year of a small grant from the state of Washington after he learned about our organization. So there can be some benefits to connecting with government officials.
Yeah. And to add to that, when it comes to the policy cycle, just thinking about multiple birth parents still getting the same amount of time for paternity or maternity leave as everyone else. I just feel it's just so unfair. But it's just writing petitions and advocacy. It might take a long time, but even just starting to make that noise to create awareness, and other people might pick it up and take it further. So, yeah. Okay, well, it's been a really interesting discussion. All too soon, we are coming to the end of our program today. We will invite Dr. Cheryl Okoli for her remarks.
Okay. Greetings, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, I do want to thank Mrs. Flora for inviting me to make the closing remarks. I feel honored, especially since the world of multiple births is not my world, even though I'm very much fascinated about everything to do with it. So thank you for inviting me. So in terms of my closing remarks, I have a very unique way of how I'm going to do it. So bear with me. So first and foremost, as I listened, because this was a big learning experience for me as well, very educative. As I sat back and listened, I paid attention very carefully to each of the speakers. So these are some of the notes that I made unique to each of the speakers, and then I'm going to highlight some key points that were mentioned during this whole conference. So for Ms. Theresa Rice, as I listened to you, the word partnership rang out strong and clear. For Mr. Lee Neufeld, I had the expression action man, which is a play on words, because I looked at the back of you and you have all these comics images. I'll get to that shortly. And then for Miss Kelsey, I was very impressed by your attention to detail and how you listened to your mom and you observed your mom growing up. And lo and behold, here you are stepping into this journey. And then for Dr. John Ajayi, I know you were relaying information on behalf of Dr. Brian from Toronto. Well done. You were a good messenger, first and foremost. Thanks for relaying his information. But for Dr. Brian, what I was struck by was his self-awareness and his transparency in everything he shared to date. So now, what stuck out to me in terms of my closing remarks? In terms of the motivation question, let's start with Ms. Theresa Rice. You talked about how it's important for us to leverage off people's lived experiences. Yes, professionals are good, but they can't necessarily understand someone who's had a lived experience. For Mr. Lee Neufeld, what I wrote was wealth of knowledge, support, talk to parents to put things in perspective, to give tips and tricks. This is also your motivation. For Dr. Brian, he talked about how caregivers of multiple birth need to connect. They need to socialize and be supported. And then he also added a very interesting point where he said, save a little bit of money. He brought in, to me, he was just tying in all the social determinants of health to some extent. And then he also said something very intriguing. He said one of his motivations in joining one of the twin clubs too was the fact that he made him feel seen, and it validated his experience that singletons cannot understand. Now for Miss Kelsey Shatford, you said you needed an outlet other than raising your twins, so you joined. Okay, so I can go on and on about the different comments and points that struck a chord with me and is beneficial for people. But I just want to end this final remarks by talking about just a little bit, sharing my thoughts, because the floor was open to share our thoughts for possible solutions. So when I listened to all of you, I was reminded of the Chinese word for the word crisis. Some of you may have heard what I'm about to share. There are two arms to it. It's either danger or opportunity. So in terms of the danger, all across the board, all of you talked about the challenges with retainment or recruitment and then retainment. That was very clear. But then I also started thinking about opportunities. So that was one aspect about the volunteers. There were other angles about things like funding and sustainability as well. But when it comes to opportunity, some of the notes that came to mind, again, listening to all of you, I thought about beyond what you've shared. Yes, like Facebook, TikTok, and all of that is all great. But I thought about, especially for you, Mrs. Teresa, I don't know if any of you have heard of the Property Brothers, Drew and Jonathan. They're twins, Canadians, BC, so right there. So thoughts that come to mind, how about we reach out to celebrities who have a known name, and they will be surprised how many there are across Canada. They could either be a face for your twin clubs, perhaps come and volunteer, and of course, like someone else said earlier, where such celebrities or dignitaries show up, the media follows them, right? So that came to mind. Now, coming to you, Mr. Lee, when I mentioned Action Man and the comic, what was screaming out at me was, think outside the box. You could have comic books about twins, multiple birds. You could have audiobooks about multiple birds. And again, some had mentioned about the generational challenges, about in terms of generation millennials and above. I'm paraphrasing, volunteer because it's the right thing to do. Unlike Generation Z and Alpha, they ask, what is it for me? Of course, there are exceptions to the rules, right? But again, capturing the different generations, maybe through surveys, and engaging them. That might be a beneficial and helpful strategy as well. The other things that came to mind too was partner with organizations that see the value of multiple births. You could have workplaces, seminars, integrating multiple births and the child. That'll be an intriguing topic because for me, let me share myself. I mentioned earlier, I do not have, or maybe I didn't, I do not have multiple births yet in my immediate family, but I have relatives who do. But they've always been a source of enigma and fascination. How much more the general public? If I and Dr. Ekwa, she said the same thing. I'm paraphrasing for her. She's also been fascinated and intrigued by multiple births as well. How much more the general population? And then what else did I have here? Yes. So not just Mr. Action Man, Mr. Lee Neufeld, Essie, for instance, I believe she sang the theme song that we were listening to during our teaser. So all of us here have different passions. We have skills that can be leveraged and showcased. So for me, I'm an avid dancer, for instance. You can capture twins out there who love to dance. You can have a TikTok, here comes a TikTok here, TikTok challenges of twins. You have, and it goes for different things. So that's all I'm going to share for now. Thank you very much for everything everyone has shared. I believe, yes, advocacy is key at all levels, not just the grassroots in a hybrid fashion. It definitely takes everyone coming together, not competing with each other, but leveraging our strengths and resources. Like this conference is a starting point. And we can only hope for the best for the future. And however I can support, I'll be happy to help. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Cheryl, for your great summary and hopeful suggestions. We know that I saw them all taking notes, and I know that they're going to use your very good suggestions. They're going to consider them and work on them. So thank you very, very much, Cheryl. We'll now call on Josiah to give us the note of thanks.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. So I think we all agree that the lively discussion about distinguished speakers from various twin clubs in Canada have been very informative and engaging for us as audience. So can we all show our appreciation by clicking on our plus button or our plus icon just to say thank you to our wonderful guest. Yeah. Oh, I can see some flying there. Thank you all very, very much. So when planning an event such as this, it is imperative to gain the participation of experts in the field. The willingness of our speakers, Kelsey Shatford, who is the Vice President of the Parents of Multiple Birth Association of Nova Scotia, Teresa Rice, the past President of Northwestern Mothers of Multiple Clubs, Lee Neufeld, past President of Twins and Triplets and More Association of Calgary, and Brian Clark, the president of Toronto Parents of Multiple Birth Association, who was ably represented by Dr. John Ajaye. It's very, very much appreciated and respected. We're also fortunate to have a great moderator, Dr. Ikia Ajaman, to navigate us flawlessly through it all and lend greater insight into the topic on multiple birth families' mental health through the lens of Twin Clubs leaderships in Canada. Thank you very, very much. We also want to thank Dr. Cheryl Okoli for providing a well-rounded recap and closing remarks for today's conference. We appreciate you a lot. We also want to express our gratitude to the brain behind this conference, Flora Trebi-Ollennu, President of the Trebi Kuma Ollennu Foundation for Community Development, and Twinfest organizer. We are indebted to our volunteers who introduce our speakers and moderators, Esufua Foster, Jasmine Owen, and Eben Esufi, who also served as our chat room manager. Thank you all very much. And last but not the least, a great applause to all participants who joined today's conference to learn and contribute to our knowledge by asking questions. We want to acknowledge Esufua Foster for composing the Twinfest theme song back in 2021, Two Are Better Than One, and that was the background music in our Twin Med video clip. It is our collective effort and thought on best practice that will bring us closer to resolving this important issue on the mental well-being of multiple birth families. This conference is not meant to be a single event, no, but a continuing investigation for the work that must be done to mitigate the problem more effectively. Please take time and be sure to visit Twinfest Edmonton Facebook page and register to receive updates, connect, and support this initiative. Once again, happy National Multiple Birth Awareness Day, and thank you all very much for your participation in this important conference. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a wonderful summer. From the board of the Trebi Kuma Ollennu Foundation for Community Development and Twinfest Edmonton. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Josiah. We are very grateful that I mean this was beyond my expectation. The discussions were deep, they were insightful, they were informational. They've given us a lot of things to think about, and we are hoping that Twin Clubs will survive, that you will find ways of engaging the younger parents who have multiple, so that we can actually build a better and healthy community in Canada and be a blessing to the rest of the world as well. So thank you very much. Really appreciate you making the time to attend the conference and to speak. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.